Welcome to The Voiceover with your host, D. Foster III, where we discuss relevant topics that affect the culture with bold, independent commentary. Get ready to be inspired, enlightened, and encouraged.
Welcome to the Voiceover Now podcast. I'm your host, Bishop Darnell Foster Johnson III, CEO, better known, aka D Foster III, and it's Friday somewhere. You know the spill. Like, share, subscribe, follow. We have a show that is going to be very intriguing. Now, you know, if you like it straight, it is Friday, right? It is Friday. If you like it straight, no chaser, you are at the right place. I'm going to take you into a conversation I had a few weeks ago on the radio show, The State of the City, with my brother, Darren Muhammad, who we expect to be one of our guests shortly. But we talked everything from politics. I prophesied. I talked about what I saw in the heavens. We talked about current events, and it is going to be intriguing. But first, I want to say I hope you had a very happy Thanksgiving. You enjoyed, you and your family. And now we are charging towards the end of the year. What an exciting, exciting time it's going to be. I'll tell you about some upcoming events very, very shortly. I'm excited. I'm ignited. And I want to say thank you. Have you tuned into the Voice of Hope Connection every Sunday right here on WPBMediaNetworks.com, 7 a.m., a fresh upload? What this does is it just gives you an inspirational word to help you get through a maybe sometimes very, very hectic week. And so you can get it. And if you don't get it, if you're not up that early, or if you at the gym, or you can get it at the gym. You could get it in church, but your pastor may not like that because you know how we deal with the phone. But anyway, you can be a part of the replay crew every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. If you want to contact us, you can do so. Email me. I want to hear from you. It's thevoiceovertheglobe@gmail.com. Thevoiceovertheglobe@gmail.com. I want to say shout out to April J., CEO and owner of operator of WPB Media. I want to say thank you for giving our voice a platform right here. Support. That's why I say press the like, push it up in the algorithm, support the shows on this platform. I appreciate April J. taking the leap of faith and providing this service. Well, you know, I often say, let me bring you into what we're going to share with you today. I often say that when you have a calling, when you have a divine calling, and it's something that God has purposed for your life, nothing and no one but you can stop it. One of the things that I've always said and always known, and pretty much always in some aspect have been a part of in my adult life, and that is I've had a voice on media, whether it was radio, podcast, television, whatever. God has always granted me a voice on media. And even when I didn't have my own particular show, people like this brother that we're going to be having this conversation with, Brother Darren Muhammad, often, and I'm forever grateful, invites me as a guest on his shows to give my outlook and to prophesy into what I see, and we discuss current events. And so several weeks ago, he asked me again to be a guest on the State of the City. And I encourage you, if you have not, if you like conscious content like this show, support, listen. He's every Saturday, 12 noon to 2 p.m. on 1590 WFBR locally, or you can catch him on the net, www.1590wfbr.weebly.com. And I'm telling you, he gets conscious, prepared content a lot like this show. So I want to take you into our last show several weeks ago, and we're going to be all over the place. It's a smorgasbord. We're talking politics. I'm talking the prophetic. I'm talking spirituality. I'm talking family. We're discussing everything because we're coming to a crescendo, the end of the year. 2025 is going to be a great year. Listen, I'll be right back after this. This is my interview with Brother Darren Muhammad at the State of the City several weeks ago. I'll be right back. Friday, we have a podcast on WPBMediaNetworks.com.
Yes, sir.
And on YouTube and Facebook. That's www.wpbmedianetworks.com, where we discuss these kind of issues. And if you love Sunday morning, we give an inspirational word every Sunday morning on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
At 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at the same channel, www.wpbmedianetworks.com. And you may know the owner of that
Yes, sir.
great channel,
Right.
Sister April Johnson.
Yes.
So she's been a blessing to us
Okay,
in
okay.
allowing us a voice on that platform. And you can reach us at 240-388-8069. And on our Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/WGNINC. Thank you, Brother Muhammad.
Pleasure's all mine. Well, let's reset as we're resetting here on Instagram, coming back in on Instagram with Brother Bishop Donnell Johnson as we're resetting, my brother. Let's get back in, man, and talk about, of course, as we've been mentioning, of course, there's a lot going on in terms of the metaphysical and how it ties into the physical as well, right?
Yes.
And the importance of getting our people to, I think this kind of, again, with all these distractions, some of them are intentional, the diversions, right? How they can be still. The scripture said, be still and know I'm God.
Yes.
To be still and sit and watch and observe, to be and then organize. So as we're closing out 2024, talk about the importance of our people, again, coming back to family, coming back to our institutions that are built on strong foundations, right? As we prepare to go into 2025.
Well, one of the things that I always say is that whatever happened during 2020 when they shut everything down, that should have been a time when we understood it's time to reconnect to one another more than ever. The greater the effort to separate should have been our greater effort to unite.
To unite. And do the opposites of what they were telling you to do. You know what I mean?
And connect to one another. Because what happens is there are entities that want to keep us, for their purposes, focused on the low vibrational systems or this natural system. See, the people that really understand that everything is spiritual first. When you understand everything is spiritual first, you understand that the spiritual aspect or the unseen aspect is the fruit, is the root. And what we see is only the fruit. And if you want to change the fruit, you've got to change the root. But as long as they can keep us thinking that what we see, who's the president, what color they are, what gender they are, is the root, then we're going to stay with rotten fruit. And in order to get a pleasantry of fruit, you got to go to the root. And the root is the areas that are not seen. And that's what I've been trying to, and you and others been trying to wake our people up to for years and years. These kind of conversations say, ho, ho, ho. They got you looking at a psyops. They want you emotional about everything.
That's right.
Because when you are emotional about everything, you can't think. You make irrational. I know some people, I mean, literally, they were talking about, I'm leaving the country. You ain't got enough money to get across town. That's your emotions. That's your.
They filing the weaponized celebrity.
I'm going to Canada. You can't even get across.
You ain't got a passport. You ain't got a passport.
But that was emotion. That was and emotion has its place. But when we allow our lives to be ruled by emotions at the expense of others taking advantage of us being ruled by emotions, then they can control our reality. And that's what I refuse to do, no matter how different we talk, we think, we act. I always say, wake up, and I know you say this about State of the City and your tribe. We are a place where we think for ourselves. That's what we want. We don't have no mass thinking going on. This thinking is not rolled off of something. And if one think like that, no. I provide you, I don't even tell people how to think. I provide you the information and help you think for yourself. And that's the kind of leaders we have to have. Leaders who say, listen, all I'm going to do is put it out here. I respect your thought apparatus. I respect your intelligence. I'm not going to get you in a room like Obama and Al Sharpton and Roland Martin did and insult your intelligence. I'm going to put if the information is credible,
Right.
all I have to do is put the information out,
Right.
and you can come up with your own wise
Right.
conclusion.
Right. Don't slant it. Don't give me your views and call it the news, because then we know it's not news. Talk about the role, again, is what we're seeing in terms of, we're talking about coming down the news media, what people would normally tune into to get their information. And I always say, as you just said, if 2020 didn't show you anything else, right? That they weren't trying to make sure you got the proper information to be able to have life and have life more abundantly. They were trying to take your life. But in the meantime, they was going to make goo gobs of money off of you before they took your life.
Well, the good thing is there is a mass movement away from mainstream. I can finally say this.
Right. Yes.
There is a mass movement from mainstream news. People have been, thank God, so disappointed by the lies.
That's right.
That they didn't come to pass. One thing I can say,
yes, sir,
and give you a victory report,
yes.
is people are believing and looking at mainstream news less and less.
That's
As a
right.
matter of fact, in the next 5 years, I don't even know if there'll be a 4 o'clock news on 45 or on 13. I'm just giving you an
Yes,
example.
sir.
I don't know if there'll be, because people are now understanding we've been lied to.
That's right.
And that's what you call the Great Awakening.
Right. Yes,
when
sir.
people understand I've been deceived.
Right.
It's not like I've been told.
That's right.
And this is what's happening all across, especially with this election.
Yes, sir.
This opened, now one thing I can say,
Right.
this opened up a lot of people's eyes.
That's right.
To understanding that the news media, and I as I said to you before, I do a teaching on this. When you look at the media, it's from the spirit medium, media.
Yes, sir.
It's a spirit of influence that is sent to control information.
Right.
And I believe that people are now being turned to what we call independent. YouTube, and now
sir.
we can choose our media.
That's
I can go on Spreaker, I can go on Facebook, and choose. Now, though I saw in the heavens that there's going to be an attempt to kind of bring that under control, because there are going to be people with that want to control the flow of information. But that's a whole nother conversation. But for now, that the mainstream media is losing its influence, Brother Muhammad.
And it ain't just white media. It's the
No,
black
no, no,
media,
no, no.
Right? And when we say mainstream media, all of them.
Yes, yes, across the board. Television, radio, and people are looking for independent voices who are not bought and sold. That's going to give it up. They may not agree with everything we say, but they can't deny it's true. That's what I say. You may not agree with everything I say, but if you do your homework and your investigation, you got to kind of understand that there's some truth in it. So I'm glad. So I predict in the next 5 to 10 years, it won't even be anything called mainstream media.
Yes, sir.
They're look at all the networks, and I'm sure you do your homework. I know you do your homework. They're losing money like, I mean, all of these, why do you think all these personalities, every time you turn on, there's a different personality trying to keep a sinking boat afloat.
Yeah, you can't
let it drown and raise up independent voices that are not owned by big corporate. I just did a podcast on that. The problem with big media is owned by big corporations, and their whole thing is to make money. That's the problem, and not to give the facts and tell the truth.
Right. Yes, sir. And as we're talking about that, we see, of course, the infighting going on with the Democratic Party, and I would say, they done hit a new low when they got people like Martin O'Malley crawling out from under the rocks. You understand? I mean, here's a man that couldn't govern right in Baltimore and Maryland, and when he ran for president, he got 2%.
Was it 2? I thought it was
2%.
1. Okay.
That was like that white milk, 2%. You know what I mean? Right? But I want to get your thoughts on that, because who in their right mind will be listening to a Martin O'Malley when, again, the people rejected him already, so I want to get your thoughts on that. But it shows you the infighting going on with the Democratic Party, where they laying off, not just in terms of media laying off, but now they laying off staff workers not getting paid.
Good.
And, of course, the candidate that ran raised $1.2 billion. Now, people talking about she's a sister. I don't know no sisters going to raise $1.2 billion. Ain't got nothing to show for it. The only sister she may be running with is Little Sisters of the Poor. You know what I mean? But she ain't running with no sisters. Spending $1.2 billion, but I want to get your thoughts on why would they even offering up a Martin O'Malley, say he can lead the Democratic National Committee or the DNC after what we just saw in terms of what he represent. The people repudiated with Hillary Clinton. So now you can't put new wine in an old wineskin unless the wineskin break, as the scripture says. So you repudiated him 8 years ago that you didn't want him and the likes of Hillary Clinton in terms of what they bought to America and American politics. What's your thoughts on that, my brother?
Okay, so I have two thoughts on that. The first one is, if our brother Colton Douglas was on here, he probably could bear witness to this. When a person is deceased,
Right.
and most of the life has gone out of them,
Yeah.
I've talked to people that work. When they're preparing the body, sometimes there will be one last
Gas.
yes, right?
Yeah, that's
Even though they're dead,
right.
right?
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm getting to a point with Martin.
Right.
So with this decentralization of power,
Right.
coming from not from the top, but coming from across,
Right.
there are certain people in power that you're going to see try to resurface to get one, like that dead body,
Right.
one last get.
Yes.
They know their opportunities are short. They know they don't have a lot of time.
Right.
They know this is their last chance that they're going to ever. So I take this as one last gas
Yes,
to
sir.
try to have power, which I do not believe will work. Now, why this leads me to my second response to your question, because there is a whole total decentralization of politics as we've known it. See, the problem, and this is one of the reasons I believe in the stars we saw Trump win, because it was known that he was not going to do politics as normal.
Right.
I said after the 2018 election,
Right.
I said, and I got it on tape, I said, this is the last really political, this is the last show of the political system as we know it.
Right.
This is it. And hasn't it been unusual ever
Right.
since then?
Yes, sir.
Because there's an attempt to bring a demolishment to this hierarchy
Right.
in this system that doesn't work for people, and bring it to a more equitable system.
Right.
And so when you say the Democratic Party had to lay off people, it's no accident.
Right.
It's not the devil.
Right.
It's trying to, but when you don't have seers in these systems, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You got blind leaders.
That's right.
That's
They
the
say the
you
blind
got
lead the blind. What happens? They both
everybody
fall
fall
in
into
the
the
ditch,
ditch.
right? And that ditch is hell.
And so there's no prophets, there's no
Right.
legitimate seers
Yeah.
in these
Yeah.
systems. Say,
Yeah.
"Oh, time out,
Right.
time out. What are we doing?
Right.
This is over."
It got to be somebody, if you're using that analogy as we talk about the coach, got to be somebody up in the box, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Somebody got to be able to see what's going on.
Somebody
Right?
got to say this is over. This
Right.
is. I mean, y'all love these past. Somebody has
Right.
got to have sight to say this. Hold up, this ain't gonna work. Martin, sit down. Your
Right.
day is over.
Right.
The sun
Hillary,
has
sit
set.
down. Obama, sit down.
Sit down.
Or you're going to be sat down.
Did you see how they brought
Right.
out all these old
Right. Al
candidates?
Sharpton, sit down. You know what I mean?
See-
right? D.L. Hughley, sit down. Roland Martin, sit
sit
down.
down.
You know
Your
what I mean?
time-
Joey Reed, sit down. You know what I mean?
And the reason your
But
time
this
is
is like Pharaoh and his magicians, though, where they just want to keep trying to, we got one more trick.
That's
you know
it.
what I
That's
mean?
it.
Right?
That's it. One more trick.
Right.
And what's happening, because it's higher than that, the
Right.
tricks ain't working.
Right.
Now the tricks are working with some of the people,
Right.
but it's not working with the universe.
Right.
It's not working with God. And somebody has to say, wait a minute, is it obvious to somebody
Right.
that this paradigm is over,
Right.
that the way this system operates no longer works for the good of the people? When you got PDW workers dying and nobody acts like they care.
DPW workers dying?
Excuse me,
Right.
yes.
Yes, sir.
And people knew the
And
problem.
they care more about safe streets than DPW workers.
Exactly.
They care more about safe streets than police officers and firefighters and city workers. They talking more about safe streets, right? Than they are seniors that's being carjacked in the city of Baltimore.
and losing their houses for
Right.
tax dollars.
That's right.
Because we have
For water bills.
And you said it in the beginning. The problem is we have no seers.
Right.
We have no we have no real prophets. I'm not talking about profits
Right.
for profit.
Yeah, they the PROFIT. We got
Yeah.
plenty of them,
Yeah.
but not the PROPHET.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
And so
even when it comes down to the non-profits, you know what I mean? They don't do the non-profit PROPHET, but they try to be the non-profits. Be really they for profit.
I mean, Roland,
right?
when I hear you say, sometimes you'll say, if you want to start one of those LLC,
the grant chase task force. You know what I mean? That's all they doing, chasing grants. We watch some of the ones that we soldiered with.
exactly.
Right?
That's all they doing is
And
chasing
they
the money.
eat at the king's table,
And
right?
the community is no better, and that's
No.
it. I always say you cannot eat the king's meat. Yeah, their uphill battles that we win. There's some rough roads, but I'd rather tread those and be free and can sit in this chair and speak free than stumble over every word because I got somebody's money and I got to watch. And so this is the kind of decentralization, getting back to that we're talking about. That's why none of this is working. That's why they go dig up an Obama, go dig up a Martin O'Malley, because the system is dead. And anybody with life can look and say, that dog ain't hunting no more. What y'all doing with that? You got to come up with a new. And see, one of the things about Aquarius is innovation. Aquarius is technology. Aquarius is freedom. And so I believe,
as we're talking about the shift in
the
universe, because people hear and say, why are he talking about Aquarius? You know what I mean? Because again, they don't have seers and they don't have media having these kind of conversations and even talking about what we're talking about right now. Unless they go listen to a Miss Blue. Those are my 16-year-old, 19-year-old, that mama, they be listening to a Miss Blue. They listen to people in what they call the alternative media that's talking about what's taking place in the universe and these shifts that are going on right now. People, they feel it, but they don't know why they feeling it.
That's it. They feel it.
They seeing it, but don't know why they seeing it.
And so it's our job, your job, my job, people, those of us that have been called to this, to help people understand not only what they feel, but why they are feeling it, and point it out and give some kind of direction. But we don't have that. We got prophets, with all due respect, a lot of miniature prophesying this house. People need direction in life, and understanding. One of our classes is how to navigate the new world. That's what people need to know. Everything around me is changing.
That's right.
How do I connect the spiritual and the natural and navigate my life, my family, my career, my business, whatever, successfully? That's what people need to know. This is how intense our conversations are. You didn't get all of it, but this is just an example of how he and I, as we have similar chemistries, go back and forth. And if you heard me, I said, I do not prophesy, or my predictions or my thoughts are not in line with low-level energy or favoritism or politics. When I speak, as I made very plain on our conversation, is always because of what I am hearing in my spirit or what's written in the heavenlies. Listen, he's going to be on our show very shortly. I am for having conscious, relevant, practical conversations here on the Voice Over Now podcast. Listen, if you were blessed by this, I want to hear you. I want to hear from you. Our email address is thevoiceovertheglobe@gmail.com. Thevoiceovertheglobe@gmail.com. Don't forget this Sunday, what is today? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 7 a.m., the Voice of Hope Connection. Support, press play, like, share, subscribe, and follow. Support this channel. Listen, also don't forget, tomorrow, Brother Darren, if you enjoyed maybe you've not heard his show before. If you've enjoyed it, listen, and I'm on there very, very, very often. You can go to 1590 WFBR locally in the DMV, or if you are abroad on the World Wide Web, www.1590wfbr.weebly.com. I want to say thank you so much. Like, share, send this link to your contacts. I believe many people will be enlightened and will be blessed and will be healed from the past events of the past month or so. Until next week, this is D. Foster III, CEO and President of Wake Up Global Networks International, reminding you that you have a voice. Keep lifting it. Peace, God bless, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you for being a part of The Voiceover. Please follow us on all of our social media platforms to stay connected to our upcoming shows and guests. Instagram at The Voiceover Radio. Twitter at DPropheticI. That's the letter D, prophetic, EYE. If this show has enriched you in any way, please share The Voiceover among your circle. Until next time, keep allowing your voice to be heard.